evening and welcome to WCTV's Meet the Candidates Night. I'm Lisa Capalla. I'd like to thank you for joining us for tonight's program. This is part one of our preview of the town election, which, as you know, is coming up on Saturday, April 24th. And we want to let you know this Thursday, WCTV will be hosting a live debate between the four candidates that are running for the two openings on the Board of Selectmen for Wilmington. So tonight we'll be meeting the candidates running for the open seats on the Wilmington Housing Authority and the school committee as well. Now, this program is not intended to be a debate, rather it's a look at some of the folks who are working in our town government, special folks that are doing things to make this town better for us all. Some are incumbents returning and others are entering the political arena for the first time. Each of the candidates you'll meet tonight are running unopposed. So let's get started and begin with our first incumbent returning for another term with the school committee. Let's welcome and let you meet Margaret, Peggy to her friends, Kane.
Thank you, Lisa. Good evening. Thank you so much to WCTV for providing this opportunity for those of you out there who don't know me to get to know me better. I appreciate it. I am running for my third consecutive term on the Wilmington School Committee. And I decided tonight that I wanted to help educate the community a little bit about school committee, because I'm not sure that we all, even having been on it for 6 years now, there are specific things that the school committee is meant to do, and I'm not sure that we all realize what those are. And there really are only three major items that are supposed to be covered by the school committee. And of course they encompass everything to do with running the school, but they're very specific. And the first one is the hiring of a superintendent. When Bill McAuliffe, our former school committee, our former school superintendent, came to the school committee and said that he had taken another job in Winchester, we didn't have to look far to find the superintendent that we wanted for our town. And I think it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made on the school committee, and that was to hire Joanne Benton, the assistant superintendent, to become our superintendent of schools. We have hired a superintendent who is a visionary. She bases her decisions on the latest educational research. We have in place a 5-year strategic plan that covers all aspects of running a school system. We also have a 5-year technological plan. We have a curriculum protocol that is, there's a 5-year plan for the curriculum protocol. So you can see that we do things in 5 in Wilmington now. We also have a professional development plan that is data-based. We have curriculum instruction and assessment, school improvement plans that are relevant, and always what is the focus is our children, the success and growth of every single student in the Wilmington Public Schools. The school committee recently evaluated Mrs. Benton. Due to a court case in Wayland, the school committee had to evaluate in a different manner. We'd never done this before. We evaluated her publicly. We went through the 6 strands that govern a superintendent, and we each spoke on those strands. And by the time we were finished, we were just amazed, and hopefully you were too, at the amount of work that our superintendent has done and the progress that she has made in the school system. And we labeled her an A+ superintendent. We're very proud of that. Mrs. Benton fosters strong community relationships, especially through the budget process, which is the school committee's second responsibility. And that is to provide stewardship of the public finances. Through the public process, Mrs. Benton works very closely with the town manager, Michael Kyra. That relationship has resulted in wonderful things for our school system. Both of them have such a keen idea as to how we can save money, how we can rework things so that we make money, how we can really do what we need to do with the funds that are given to us by the state, how we don't rely on what the state tells us at the beginning of budget process to fund our budget. We use those funds at the end of the budget process because, as you all know, what the state is going to supply us changes consistently and constantly. The budget process is transparent, taking up multiple meetings between December and March. There is abundant opportunity for the public to comment and ask questions. And in fact, I'd have to say that sometimes we almost wish there would be more public comment and public questions. We don't really, at our budget hearing, we don't really have people in the audience. However, when I meet people around town, they comment on it, so I know they're watching cable TV. So that this is such a wonderful community organization. I'll just put a plug in there for the cable TV. And we really appreciate it, and people are watching. More people than I'm just shocked sometimes at the number of people who are watching. Each of our requests that come to us from the school system are based on data. Mrs. Benton has her leadership team go through the budget prior to coming to us, and she does not bring us frivolous information. She doesn't bring us frivolous requests. Her requests are always, this is really what we need. And she and Mr. Kyra work out what the budget will be that the town is able to provide for us. And so far, every year, it has been just excellent. And in each occasion, there are certain budget items that we have a special place in the town meeting for those capital improvements. And Mr. Kyra gives the school system capital improvements in every budget. In addition, the superintendent has been instrumental in establishing and supporting the Wilmington Education Foundation and the School Business Partnership, both sources of multiple teacher grants for creative requests. And a member of the school committee serves on those boards. So the first thing we do is we hire an able and competent and A+ superintendent. The second thing we do is we guard the money. For the rest of the year, after the budget has been approved by first the school committee and then the town at town meeting, then we make sure that the budget is spent in the proper way. And in effect, every month we go over a budget statement so that we can see, and the public, if you wanted to see, you could go to the Roman House and have a copy of that budget statement so you can see how the money is spent, what percentage is spent each month, where it goes, and if there's anything left over. Finally, the school committee is charged with making sure that the policies of the school system are developed and are adhered to. The school committee maintains a policy subcommittee through which new policies are explored and worked on, and old policies are revised. Our job as policymakers is to make policies which enable the school system to run smoothly. The interesting part about the policies is, for instance, today I was talking to somebody about one of the more controversial policies that we have would be, I'm so against them, I can't remember the name, cell phones. Cell phones in school. It's incredible that students need to have cell phones in school, that so many students need to have cell phones in school. We had some problems with our policy at the beginning of the year. We have changed the policy. Now I'm not sure that I'm happy with the policy. So we really have to look into that again. But you have a problem sometimes with the schools where the parents and the school system don't see eye to eye. And many parents believe the students need that cell phone just in case of emergency. And many teachers and school officials feel they don't need them because they're so distracting. So our policies range from that to school bus, how people behave on the school buses, what happens if they don't. And so there's so many, our book is huge. You can also have, you can also go to the policy book and borrow that from the Roman House if you choose to do so. So those are the three main things that the school committee person does, and I really appreciate the opportunity, even though I'm running unopposed, I appreciate the opportunity to run. And I would like to say in the next coming couple of years, it would be wonderful if people out there thought about joining the school committee. We have certain obligations, the awards night, the graduation. There are certain things that we really try to get to. But otherwise, it's 2 meetings a month. And please think about it. It's a wonderful thing to do. And our next item of business is certainly going to be a discussion of a new high school. And we hope that, I hope that the town really considers that we need a new high school for our students. And you'll be listening to what I'm sure WCTV will have many programs as we go along on what's going to happen as far as how to maintain it, how to get a new high school, and the fact that the state will be paying for half of it or more. And this isn't a time to say no to the state. So thank you very much. I would appreciate your vote on April 24th, and thank you for this opportunity.
Robert Hayes will also be joining that body for his first term. He's here now to tell us a little bit more about himself.
My name is Robert Hayes. I'm 24, and I'm running for the school committee here in Wilmington. I've been asked to first talk a little bit about myself, something I don't do very often and something I very much don't like to do. So I'll focus on my background in libraries. I am a librarian. I recently obtained my master's in Library and Information Science from Simmons College with a concentration in library management. I received several scholarships while at Simmons. I graduated with a 3.9 GPA and high honors. I was inducted into the International Library and Information Science Honor Society. Throughout much of high school and college, I worked at the Wilmington Memorial Library as a library aide. Throughout grad school, I worked at the Tewksbury Public Library as a library assistant. Upon graduation, I became head of technical services at the Tewksbury Public Library. Aside from my duties at Tewksbury, I currently serve on several committees in both the Merrimack Valley Library Consortium and the Northeastern Massachusetts Regional Library System. I am an active member of the Massachusetts Library Association, the American Library Association, and the Public Library Association. On both the local and state level, I'm very involved in library-related nonprofit organizations. On the local level, I volunteer as the manager of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library's bookstore next door, where every penny raised benefits the Wilmington Library. I'm in my 5th year of serving on the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library Executive Board, including 2 years as president and 1 year as fundraising chair. I, along with so many others, fought tirelessly for a new library in Wilmington, making calls, writing letters to the editor, and holding signs. And over the past decade, I've been involved with many other volunteer activities at the Wilmington Library. A small sample includes maintaining the Friends of the Library's blog, Twitter, and Facebook accounts, judging the library's annual poetry contest, serving on the library's long-range planning committee, volunteering in the library's homebound delivery program, organizing this summer's successful Bon Appetit for Your Library fundraisers, and organizing the Friends of the Library's 4th of July booth. On the state level, I recently became a member of the Massachusetts Friends of Library Board of Directors. I maintain a blog, Fundraising Ideas for Libraries in Massachusetts, that has received a great deal of recognition and serves as a valuable tool to Friends groups across the state. And finally, this fall, I was recognized for my library fundraising activities and was invited, along with Library Director Tina Stewart and Friends President Marilyn Lampson, to speak at the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners Annual Conference. So I hope I didn't put you to sleep, but I told you all of that so I can tell you this. I will bring the same passion, creativeness, and dedication to the Wilmington School Committee that I have brought to the library world. And so I've been asked to wrap up by talking about my priorities as a school committee member. I may be a fresh face with some new ideas and lots of energy and excitement. I am not, however, a quote-unquote change candidate. I ran for school committee to maintain the excellence that this school district displays day in and day out. I support the job Superintendent Joanne Bennett is doing. I support the FY11 school department budget, no cuts to services, no layoffs, and no activity fees. I support the current policies of the school committee. For example, security cameras outside high school bathrooms to detect and discourage any illegal activity, the ability to bring in police dogs on school grounds to search lockers, raising the number of credits needed for high school graduation, and requiring a 4th year of math for high school graduation are all recent policy changes I strongly agree with. I support the district's 5-year strategic plan, and many of my priorities as a candidate are the priorities that are laid out in that plan. They include maintaining consistent curriculum from school to school with common expectations for all students, maintaining high standards for academic performance, maintaining small class sizes, maintaining all-day kindergarten, maintaining a strong professional development program for teachers, maintaining a regularly scheduled maintenance program for all school buildings, maintaining an emphasis on safe and secure learning environments, continuing to increase parental involvement in the education of their children, continuing to develop more school-to-business partnerships, continuing to integrate technology into the classroom, continuing to upgrade the district websites, continuing to improve communication between schools and parents, continuing to improve communication between schools and the community, continuing to build community momentum towards school issues, and continuing to improve and upgrade facilities, including the high school. So people ask me why I'm running for school committee if I don't have a child in the school system. Well, aside from my age and my research skills, something that distinguishes me from the school committee I'll be joining is the fact that I'm the only member who actually graduated from Wilmington High. Not only am I a product of the Wilmington school system, but my mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and great-great-grandfather were all educated here in Wilmington. So I owe a lot to this school system and to this town, and I'd like to give back. I graduated from WHS in 2003. It was my time there, particularly in my roles as co-editor of the school newspaper and vice president of student council, where I decided I really wanted to join the school committee. I knew 10 years ago I wanted to join, but I wanted to complete my education first. I wrapped up grad school in December, so here I am. Because I'm running unopposed, I decided not to wage much of a campaign. Nevertheless, I have met a lot of people. I'd like to thank them for their support. I'd particularly like to thank fellow candidate and current chair of the school committee, Peggy Kane, for encouraging me to run. I'd like to thank outgoing school committee members, Judy O'Connell and Joan Duffy, for their service to this town. They leave big shoes to fill, but I'll do my best. I'd like to wish Kathleen Carroll and Peggy Kane the best of luck on Election Day. Not that they'll need it, but I look forward to working with them. I'd like to thank WCTV and organizer Sandra Curtin for giving me this opportunity. And in closing, I'd like to thank the residents of Wilmington for taking the time to listen to me. I look forward to listening to you and serving you over the next 3 years. I respectfully ask for your vote, and please remember the 24-year-old on April 24th. Thank you very much.
Our focus now changes to the Wilmington Housing Authority. So let's meet another incumbent, Leona Bonfire. Leona?
Hi, I'm Leona Bonfire. I'm searching for re-election to the Housing Authority. I was elected 3 years ago to fill in a position, and so the Housing Authority is there to oversee the office at the Deming Way and the other public buildings that we have. I live at Deming Way, and I am the tenant's spokesman for them as commissioner. We do a lot of things for them. The tenants come to me if they have problems and concerns, then we talk it over and all of that. I bring a lot of experience and what's going on to the commission. So I am looking for re-election. Please come and vote for me. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Leona, for that informative view of what you do for the Housing Authority. Continuing on with Wilmington Housing Authority running unopposed, let's meet our next candidate, Stacey Murphy. Stacey.
Hi, thank you very much for having me here at WCTV. I'm actually running for the unexpired term for 2 years. I was appointed to the Housing Authority in October, and currently I'm sitting on the board, and I hope everyone in town gets out and votes on April 24th. I think it's very important that people get involved in the community which they live in. I grew up going down to Deming Way, selling Girl Scout cookies, doing Christmas carols, and over the years it's changed, and I just feel that I can bring, some change and beautify it a little bit more, and anything I can do, to help the residents down at Deming Way and also the residents in other properties as well, I'm willing to do it. So I look forward to serving, another 2 years on the board, and I hope everyone comes out on Election Day. Thank you very much.
Well, that wraps up part one of WCTV's preview of the 2010 town election coverage. I want to thank the candidates, the audience, and just let you know that if you missed any part of tonight's broadcast, we'll be rerunning this broadcast several times before the actual election that's going to be held on April 24th, Saturday. We also will be having part two of this coverage as a debate, which will be live on Thursday evening, where the four candidates who are up for the 2 seats for Board of Selection are going to be here, the Board of Selectmen, that is, going to be here to talk about that race. That should be pretty exciting. So tune into WCTV for local information and live election result coverage. And also we're going to be covering the town meeting live on May 1st, as we always do. So we're doing our part. We remind you to do your part and get out there and vote. Get involved in the community. I'm Lisa Capalla, and on behalf of the candidates, WCTV staff and crew, thank you so much for watching and have a good evening.